Good morning. Hello. Good evening, whenever you see this. Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining. We are so appreciative of you continuing on with us throughout this 5-day webinar series. Dr. Thelá and I are appreciative of your time, of your questions, of your insights. And so we are in day 3. We are now in day 3. Yes. I know this has been fantastic. Just really, first day we talked about retirement. Second day we talked through healthcare benefits. And so today we're going to talk through life insurance and aspects of estate planning. And so we really are trying to cover the gamut when it comes to benefits. We know this is a time of open enrollment. And so we wanted to take time to actually help people navigate this process and to set themselves up. Because as we've mentioned before, employer benefits specifically are a way that rich people have been able to really build wealth. I feel like sometimes, especially in minority communities, this is forgotten, the importance of actually taking advantage of the benefits that are offered to you. And so we will get into introductions. My name is Jasmine Smalls. I am a certified financial planner. I have my own consulting firm, Jasmine Smalls Consulting, where I do help people and small businesses navigate retirement planning, navigate the full gamut of financial planning. So really laying that foundation of creating an emergency savings, building a strategy around that, getting out of debt and leveraging it, right? Because we know that we can leverage debt for assets, but also there is bad debt, right? That we don't necessarily need, and that's actually weighing us down. And so creating strategy and plan around that, and then helping people really build wealth through investments, whether it be through a retirement account or just some broader investment accounts. And through life insurance. So that's also an aspect of it as well. And so, as I mentioned, my name is Jasmine Smalls. I am a financial consultant of Jasmine Smalls Consulting. I am here with Dr. Thelá Thatch. I'll allow her to introduce herself.
Thank you so much. Wow. First of all, I'm just so happy to know you because you can help me with my debt, with my investment advice, and giving me investment advice. And so my name is Dr. Thelá Thatch. I have a PhD in public policy, administration, and law. But for 20, or should I say, and for 25 years plus, I have been doing human resources consulting for large corporations such as Cablevision was one of my first jobs I had, where I did human resources, and in that role, I did benefits, I did benefit enrollment, I educated employees on their benefits and their rights as an employee, and also helped the employer. So I own the company, Dr. Thelá Thatch, Thelá Thatch Consulting, and we do all things from hire to retire. I also want to mention I'm a life accident health broker, which means as a broker, I am listed with multiple companies like Colonial Life, Aflac, Ethos, which is one of my favorite little secret insurance places that you should check out, and Cal Choice. So I am a broker, which also means I have enrollers who come into your organization and will help you enroll into your benefits. And so just wanted to share that. I also wanted to say, Jasmine, today is a day to just really focus on money. That's why I got on my money green. Jasmine has on her black because she's focused. And today we are focusing on how understanding life insurance and legal plans can help you get and save your money. So I'll give it back to you, Jasmine.
Yes, no, that goes right into our conversation today. Just talking through the various types of, oh, went a little too far, the various types of life insurance. So term and whole life insurance are the main two types. Of course, there are subcategories, especially when we're talking through whole life. During this conversation, we will keep it broad in general. But of course, as Dr. Thelá mentioned, if you would like to have a deeper conversation, you can meet and we can explore options that make the most sense for you. And that will also get into how much coverage do you need. Again, we'll give best practices around that. And then the benefits of a legal plan. Legal plans, I feel like, are completely underrated when it comes to benefit offerings, and they truly can one save you on legal fees, but then also help when it comes to estate planning. So we'll get into that during our conversation today as well. And so I'll hand it over to you, Dr. Thelá, to give that
Yeah.
overview of term life.
Thank you so much. So I do want to just make sure everyone is aware that when someone is talking to you about benefits or life insurance, make sure they have a license. I remember one of my first jobs in 2005 at Paychex. I had to get my life accident health uh, my life accident health. I had to be certified in life accident health, get my life accident health license. I couldn't think of the word license. And because in the state of New Jersey, you could not even talk about life insurance or benefits unless you were licensed. So I just really have been seeing people getting quotes and information from people who do not have a, and unfortunately, some of those are scams. So let me just break this down real simple for you. So term life insurance is crucial. This is the life insurance that is for a term. It's called term because it's for a period of time, like 10, 20, or 30 years. And if you or the policyholder passes away during this period, the beneficiary, your mom, your children, whoever the beneficiary is, the person who you will list on the policy, they receive your benefit. And so, for example, you might have a $10,000 term policy, and then your children may use that for your burial purposes, or hopefully you have $1 million term policy, and then your family is rich, like most other people who get rich off of insurance, and their family leaves them money. So that's term life insurance. The pros and cons. The pros is you need it, right? If God forbid something happens to you, your family does not have to go into debt paying off, your funeral expenses or other debt. And the cons is term life has no real cash value. It is just money waiting in case you die, or you really can't access it. It's only for a term, for a period. Now, whole life insurance, how that works is it provides lifelong coverage with fixed premiums. So it includes a savings component, cash, that grows over time, and your beneficiaries will receive a death benefit when you pass away. So this is good for individuals looking for long-term security and a policy that will build value over time. I will get personal like I always do. This is the type of policy I bought for my children while they were young. So that way their policy has a term piece to it, but it also is growing, and that every year they have another level of cash value, which Jasmine could talk more about because it's based on anytime things are growing within these type of products, it's based on the market, first on the market. But I'll let Jasmine talk about that. That's her expertise. So the pros and cons. Premiums are higher when you have whole life insurance. So if you think about it, you can get a term life policy today probably for $20. Like you probably could get something really, really cheap that will cover you, and all you need to do is pay that $20, $40, $50 a month, and you will have term life. I recommend do that before you do nothing. Now, a whole life insurance policy is going to cost more than that. It may not be much more, but it definitely is an investment, and the premiums will be higher. But the cash value can also be used as a loan source. So I'll let Jasmine talk about that. And it also can supplement retirement income or cover other expenses. Now, last but not least, the third, well, there's more, but the third one that I'll talk about is universal life insurance. And similar to whole life insurance, it offers flexibility in premium payments and death benefits. It also has a cash value, and this is good for those who want lifelong coverage with more control over premiums and death benefits. It's flexible, but it can be a little complicated because the cash value depends on the market rates, which could impact the policy's values and premiums. And so some other insurance products or insurance types of insurance are variable life insurance, final expense, and there's lots of different insurance types of insurance, but the core three, I would like to say, are term, whole life, and universal life. And then what happens is certain brokers, they create blends of these products to meet your needs. So, and that's what Jasmine and I do. We create a package of these that just specifically designed for you to meet your needs. So okay, Jasmine, what do you think about that?
Yeah.
That was a lot.
No, that was a great overview. I just wanted to pull out a couple of things that you said, Dr. Thiele.
Mhm.
So, term insurance, as you mentioned, it's typically more affordable. And so, if you are someone who is doesn't have a lot of discretionary income, but you need insurance, at minimum, start with a term policy. And your benefits typically do offer some type of group life insurance, which would fall under um, a term policy because it is essentially it's there, you have it while you're employed. And so that's something that you do want to be aware of, because I know for me personally, when it comes to my life insurance needs, I had life insurance through my employer when I was employed, and I paid the little extra to have, let's say, $500,000 if I were to pass away, right? So but I was very aware that when I left, that policy would then no longer be in place. And so because of that, I now have to get my own personal life insurance. But there was a window. So I had 30 days to where I could still contact the carrier to see what type of policy I could get through them. And so although when I say term, I that was for lack of a better word, but what I mean is that through your group employer, it's group life insurance. So you essentially have a set amount of money that you are paying into or that you have gotten. A lot of times employers will automatically offer $50,000, for example, if they're at a certain size or point, they'll automatically offer that for life insurance. And so just being aware of that. So I say all that to say, if you are someone who does not have a lot of discretionary income, looking at your employer to see their benefit, paying that little extra is a great way to get yourself insured. But you do want to be aware that it is tied to your employment a lot of times.
Yeah.
Um, we don't talk in absolutes in this industry, but that's why I'm saying most times it's tied to your employer, to you actually being employed. But you can still get some great benefit from it.
Yes, can I jump in right there
Yeah.
from a human resources perspective? Because as we discussed, is open enrollment period now. And so you're going to be getting open enrollment applications or an opportunity to change. This is where, when you look on that benefits application, it says 1 times, 2 times, 3 times. They're asking you how much insurance do you want? A lot of times people skip that. And
Mhm.
so don't skip it. That's all I want to interrupt and say. Make sure you are checking the box there around how much coverage you want. And so 1 times might be 1 times your salary. So if you make $50,000, they're going to give you a policy. Most companies give you 1 times, which is you're going to get 1 times your annual salary. But you may want to make it 2 times. And so if you're making $100,000 a year, you may say, no, I want 2 times. And so for like $2, $5, $6 more, you may get $200,000. Now, this is just rough quotes, but don't skip this during open enrollment. Make sure you have, the difference between 1 times, the amount the company is paying for, which typically is 1 times, and then you may want to add an additional 2 times to double that for like pennies, probably $10, $20 a month or less. And then the second question is going back to what Jasmine was saying, ask if it's portable. How much of this would be portable? Can you take your life insurance policy with you? Almost always, yes, you can. However, you would have to pay the monthly payments at the full cost. So I just wanted, before we run out of time, that is the money right there is there. That's where the money is.
Right, exactly. And so term insurance is definitely a great way to start. And then whole life insurance, when it comes to whole life insurance, as Dr. Thelá said, that's more of permanent policies. So when you utilize these policies, a lot of times you are looking for something that has more longevity, just meaning that you are able to build up some type of cash value. And to what she was saying, that cash value, it can be tied to the market, or it can have some type of more fixed to where it's growing at a certain rate. But the good thing about insurance is even when it's tied to the market, for example, they still have, I always use the word guardrails, because they do typically cap how much growth, but then they also typically cap how much you would lose. And so that's the benefit of insurance, is that you are transferring some of that risk to the actual insurance company. And on top of that, you are able to take out loans from that money. I know that's a way a lot of people have, let's say they want to buy a home and they're looking for extra money, or they want to send their kids to college, or insert anything, that you can take out a loan from your account. And then at a certain point, you can also start to actually withdraw from it and not pay taxes on it. And so there are a lot of benefits to having a strategy that incorporates both. But again, you want to keep your goals in your household in mind. And so I know for me, I meet with a lot of young families who may not have a lot of discretionary funds. And so, as I mentioned, there's nothing wrong with starting with term. There's absolutely nothing wrong with that. You're going to get much more insurance for the lower premium, and you can always graduate into something else.
Love it. That's great, great advice. So there's a question in the chat, Jasmine, that I'll give to you. How much life insurance coverage is generally recommended, and what factors should I consider when determining my coverage amount?
Yes. So typically, to be insured, 10 times your income is kind of the rule of thumb. Yes, 10 times your
Wow, that's a
income.
lot.
It is. But that is to, it also is looking at your household, right? So when it comes to factors that you want to consider, you do want to consider who is the bread, um, who brings in the money. It's because, for example, I have a friend who's a stay-at-home mom and then her husband works. And so for them, they want to make sure that that his income is covered if something were to happen to him, and vice versa. A lot of people don't talk about how stay-at-home moms do actually, if you were to monetize the work that they actually did, it does cost. And so you want to take that into account. You want to take into account, if this person was to pass away, what income are we actually losing? What benefits are we losing? You also want to take into account, are you using life insurance as a way to send your children to college, for example? So was that in your plan? So if one of you all were to pass, or both of you all were to pass prematurely, you do want to consider that. So you do actually want to consider the actual, beyond just covering income, you want to also think about that legacy and the additional things that you are planning to do throughout your life.
That's great advice. I would say conservatively, if someone had asked me this as an HR person, I would have said the similar thing, but I would have just said, calculate all of your current expenses, like know how
Oh,
much is
yes, of course.
mortgage. My top thing I would just personally say when I was thinking about insurance is make sure you cover the cost of your house. Like if my
Yes.
house was $500,000, which like you said, could be close to 10 times someone's salary. But if my house was $500,000, I definitely want a $500,000 term policy or whole life policy. So when I die, the house is paid for. That's my number
Yeah.
one thing. House paid for, funeral. So that's just the bare minimum. That's the bare minimum, making sure your assets are covered, like Jasmine said, and making sure your loved ones don't have to debt to bury you. So that was how I would say determine your coverage amount by calculating those figures. And then I love what you said, Jasmine, also like what are the things you want to like think bigger too, like what is it you want to cover? So that was really good.
Yeah,
Mhm.
yes. And like you said, depending on the type of insurance, it varies. Price and premiums do vary. So you do want to take that in account as well. You don't want to necessarily go bankrupt trying to pay for life insurance. So you do want to make sure whatever you choose is within your budget as well. And so with life insurance, as we mentioned, it is important to have some type of life insurance to whether it's through your employer or you go the private route. Having coverage is a way that people have built wealth. Period. Period.
I was waiting for the wealth part. So now let me lean
Yes.
in a little more.
Yes. No, it is
Yeah.
because that passing on real estate, these are all ways that are not extremely complicated that you can actually set your family up for success. And so life insurance is necessary. And then I do want to touch on, I know we're ending coming up on time. I do want to touch on the benefits of having a legal plan. And so not all employers offer legal plans, but why this is being brought up is because we're talking about protection, right? We're talking about protecting your assets. And legal plans are a way that you can get a trust and will created at more of a discounted rate because legal plans help with covering legal costs. In order to get a trust or will created, you do need to go to an actual estate planning lawyer.
Yeah.
Um, and so, with that, in general, wills are just simply instructions. And so if you're someone who doesn't have, a home or assets of, I'll say over $100,000, your situation's not extremely complicated, a will can be a good place to go. Especially I'm thinking about career starters, people just getting started. Wills are a good place to go. But if you own a business, you own real estate, you have assets, then you want to trust. And trust, why they're so important is because one, it gives you a level of privacy. And then also what a trust does, it helps you avoid probate. And probate is essentially the government telling you how you're going to divvy up your assets or how your family is going to. And it can be extremely expensive. And so it is important to, at minimum, have a will and a trust if it makes sense. And so, with that, legal plans actually do help you with getting those created. And so, just to share a few statistics really quick, fewer than 2 out of 3 US adults have a will. And you'll see that 32% in 2024 actually had a will. And that is honestly, I'm going to say it, that's not acceptable. Like, that's just not acceptable because there, you can also get a will created online. Like, being honest, with these legal plans, you can even just simply go in there, insert information, have it created, drafted, go get it notarized. So having a will created truly at this point in the game is not necessarily a heavy lift, especially if you have something like a legal plan that you can take advantage of.
And I could bet, Jasmine, that that number is even more sad for people of color.
Yes,
So this is
I would
just,
bet that too.
yeah, I would guess that it's even harder. Okay.
Yes, yes. And so that's why we wanted to pinpoint the benefit of that. And then also, as we go, because at the end of the day, adding a beneficiary to all of your accounts is an absolute must. Every account that you have needs to have a beneficiary. We discussed life insurance. You need to have beneficiaries attached to it. Your retirement accounts all should have beneficiaries. You're not able to put a retirement account inside of a trust. So you need a beneficiary. You can have the trust as your beneficiary. Um, for most people, that may not be the wisest tax-wise, for a number of reasons I won't get into in this moment, but you can do it. And so that at minimum, and then having a will and then a trust. So 53 per, and then we just, to summarize, life insurance is extremely, oh, actually, Dr. Thelá, did you want to add anything to legal plans or wills versus trust?
The only thing I would say, again, if I was talking to an employee as an HR person, is make sure you ask about the legal plan. Sometimes they're kind of buried in the open enrollment process, and it's like, oh yeah, we do have Hyatt Legal, or we do have a legal plan. Sometimes it's even buried in the employee assistance program, and it's attached to that. So I would say ask your HR person, ask the benefits person, because, and then again, on a personal note, I used it and I was able to set up a will and a trust for literally like under $150. Okay. So that's a big, that's a big, and that's because I used a plan and I just wanted to give a real life example. So this is just a time to take down notes, and hopefully you're watching this during open enrollment. You can even email your HR person and say, answer these questions. Do we have a legal plan? Do I have term insurance? How much does the company pay for it? Do I have a 401k? Like the things that we're talking about during this series, ask the questions, send your HR person an email, send whoever is responsible for benefits, the CEO, an email, and just ask the questions and then get that money.
Get that money. And I wanted to add to what she said. So she was able to get a will and trust created for 150. Typically, to have a trust created, it's at least $2,500. And so that is a huge benefit. We're not saying this out of, not understanding. These legal plans truly do help lower the cost that you're going to pay for your legal fees. And so, like Dr. Thelá said, ask to see what's available, because you truly can save and get what your family needs to be protected.
Great. Wow. So that is, what else? Did you want to go through anything else? Yeah, go
I'll
ahead.
just go through these points to summarize what we were saying.
Okay.
So 53% of US workers say they have life insurance through their workplace. And so I feel like sometimes people downplay or advise against getting life insurance through your workplace. Um, I've seen it, but at the end of the day, this is a way that you can easily become covered, and it's already a benefit that's offered to you, and available. And they make it easy for you to sign up. You just do it during your open enrollment, as we've been talking about. Workers with life insurance coverage are more likely to feel financially secure. And so there is a level of security that comes with knowing that you're covered, especially if something were to happen to you or a loved one. And then 64% of Americans say having a will is important, but yet only 32% have one. And so there is a disconnect that we're hoping to close the gap on, to where let's actually realize something is important and then take action.
Well, I promise you this, Jasmine. My number one goal after everything this country has gone through, everything we've done, everything we've been a part of, is to get my house in order. Okay. I am double checking my life insurance. I am revisiting my will. I'm making sure all my I's are dotted, all of my T's are crossed in a easy way. I'm not going to stress myself out, but this is where, as a, as a woman, as a Black woman, this is how I take action by taking care of my business, by minding my benefits, minding and making sure and tending to my business and my business benefits. And so I'm hoping that whoever is listening, that I know it may feel overwhelming. I've been doing this for 25 years. It still feels overwhelming to me sometimes, because you have, but just keep going, keep looking at all of the benefits that you have. And I'm going to just say I'm Thelá Thatch at thelathatch.com. Please reach out to me or Jasmine if you want to quote on whatever that thing is. And I'm going to let Jasmine close us out.
Yes, no, I'm Jasmine Smalls with Jasmine Smalls Consulting. We greatly appreciate you taking time to be with us. And as Dr. Thelá said, take it one step at a time. Our goal is not to overwhelm you, it's to inform you and to also empower you to know that you can do it. You are in a position to where you can truly set yourself up for success. And I'm sure you already have so many things that you've done. We're just hoping to help you continue to build the house that you have created so that you and your family are protected and that your legacy can continue on.
Beautifully said. Thank you, Jasmine. I feel safer already.
No, same. I did want to add, just because you said that, also do this for ourselves. So we understand that it can sometimes feel a little overwhelming, but we also understand that I know for me, even I know we're at time, but I want to say this. Sometimes when people are single, they feel like this isn't important. I am a single woman and I have life insurance. And the reason for that is because I realize one, I want to make sure, like I said, when my burial, all that stuff, I want to make sure it's covered. But then also, it's a legacy play for me. So at the end of the day, yes, I'm single without kids right now, but I also know that's not going to be forever. And in the meantime, in between time, I have loved ones that I want to set up. And if I can do that, even when I'm not here, like to me, that's a winning situation. And so sometimes I feel like we have to think beyond just our moment where we are. And at the end of the day, you still have assets. Like just because it's just you does not mean you don't have things to protect. I know I have built and I am continuing to build, and I want to make sure I'm protecting what I build. And so I just wanted to add that because I feel like a lot of times we talk about families, but we also need to think about and be clear that even as a single person or whatever your status is, you still want to make sure you're covered.
Right. Well, because you said that, it sparked something I want to share as an entrepreneur. Because one of the things that I did, and please reach out to me if you want to learn more, is I was able to secure a $1 million term life policy. And I only share this to say it gave me the confidence and security to really take risk in my business because I knew that if something happens to me, all the risk, all the investments, all the things I've done, my family will have $1 million, right? So I can do it with confidence. That's why you see us out here, you see me out here. We can do things in confidence because we don't have to be moved by fear. If something happens to me, my family's gonna be better off than when I was here. I mean, they're gonna miss me, of course, but they're gonna be rich. Okay, so that part.
No, same.
So that's why we do it. And so you can move differently when you're confident that you're not coming from a scarcity mindset, like I can't do this or that because I might lose this or that. No, you're like, I can move however I want to because I'm protected. And so I'm saying that for my entrepreneurs who are out there working on a scarcity mindset. Let's get out of the scarcity mindset, take advantage of your benefits, mind your benefits, listen to people, brilliant people like Jasmine Smalls and myself, and
Yes.
go handle your business
Handle your
and
business
your benefits.
and your benefits. Exactly. And it's
Okay,
not as expensive as you think. I know we can keep going.
I know. Do
It's
it because we want you
let's
to
do
do it.
it. But no,
Now,
you
bring
all
that
have,
tomorrow.
yes, we will be back tomorrow. You all have a beautiful day and we thank you again for joining.